Hello everyone, welcome back to Season of 12 Colours. We're now on to Chapter 6, and let's get into it. The afternoon had been sultry. I tossed about, trying to get some sleep. The piece of paper came into my sight once again. If the blank blank goes backwards... Is it blank blank or blank? If the blank goes backwards, blank could reverse and touch blank. The concussion blank overlapping blank a closed zone. I didn't think anyone could make sense of this. I read the last line. Although blank not yet blank understood, but Daddy told me it's good to know. Blank. Daddy will definitely succeed. With the terrible handwriting, it had been the only sentence readable. Who wrote it? When? The letters were written so clumsily, it reminded me of... Oh. Hey, teach me this. Please, do your own homework. So we're living in an age where even kindergarten children had homework to do during summer vacation. And seriously, shouldn't this be taught in primary school? Teach me! Clutching my sleeves, Tangerine clung on to me. Alright. I took the notebook. It had doodles all over it. Wow, never seen such poor handwriting. I might have complained about it when I was helping her with her homework. That's why I got you to help, right? I don't know what there's to brag about. Just for once, it'd be acceptable. After all, we had promised Jasmine we would go play with her after Tangerine finished her homework. I didn't want to keep her waiting. I speeded up. In the afternoon, rain fell on and off. The heat had gone away a little, but I still couldn't sleep. Yes, the same weather as that day. What? The little girl was so scared that she jumped all around and plunged herself in my direction. Hey, would you stop clinging to me already? I couldn't walk. The weather had not been kind to us. Fat raindrops had started to fall without warning. Oh, how. It no longer looked like a good day for hill climbing. I ran towards the direction of home, dragging the little orange girl with me. What about Jasmine? The little girl's cry was muffled by the sounds of the rain. I pulled my shirt over her head to protect her from the rain. We ran. There had been only one thing on my mind. I needed to get her home. Fast. Of course I ended up with a bad cold. Fits of non-stop sneezing. My head felt heavy with dizziness. But what hurt my pride even more? Little Tangerine was perfectly healthy as always. Was it because she was so young, or could it be that she was brought up in the countryside? Either way, she told everybody the same thing. My big brother protected me! Well, to be honest, I was more than a little happy. But would you give up tending to me already? I'd appreciate it if you could simply let your mum do it. You said Jasmine? Sure, we can go say sorry to her tomorrow. After all, it was not our fault that it rained. The umbrella? What umbrella? Wasn't it over there behind the door? Jasmine, what about her? What? Did she have an umbrella? Perhaps? No? Hey, listen, don't just run away like that. And it was a sunscreen umbrella. That girl never listened. What happened after that, I could not recall. Or perhaps I just refused to. I ran after her in the rain. It got me a bad fever. Had to be escorted to the hospital in town. Took injections and drip feeding. The whole thing had been quite overly dramatic. Could have killed me, it seemed. Me? I didn't remember a thing. Because when I woke up, it was already a few days later. The pain lived on in my chest. There was nothing I could do. If I could have done anything at all. I stared at my palm, tinted with blue ink. There was a word. It was the rain-smeared paper that had left the letters on my palm. The colour was faint, barely readable. I made it out at last. Time. Time. Blank is like a straight line, it only goes one way. The line of time, linear time. Comparable to strings from a winder, it only stretched into one direction. It would not go backwards, it would never stop to wait. However, would there ever be an exception? Blank lines could cling blank. For instance, caused by some kind of disturbance, the line bended when blank indifferent blank in a short period. It was possible to... It went backward, extended into where the past had been, and brushed past it. Everything bursted out, all the memories, all the fragments came together. Slowly, they started to combine into one. Time is like a straight line, it only goes one way, but occasionally, there have been exceptions. Disturbed lines could cling to each other. When timelines in different directions start sinking in a short period, I braced myself up. My head was still burning, though it couldn't bother me less right now. The fragments were not enough, but there had been one explanation. One possibility. I ran out of the door. The rain-washed street extended before me. The grass blades still had raindrops on them. I climbed the well-acquainted hills. It was not far away. Yes, time would never go backwards. Even at this moment, I refused to believe anything like that. That was clearly nonsense. It was only something made up by my feverish head, from some incomplete message on a paper plane. It was absurd. But I saw it. The pathway became entirely different. Not compared with the past. Different from what I had seen these last few days. I don't know. I saw it with my own eyes. It had not been a mirage or an illusion. It just appeared. These last few days, it never belonged here. It did not belong to this time. The time where the girl named Jasmine lived, if only I could find it. Starting from the future and going into the past. She would arrive to what had already happened, if that was be possible for me as well. The little girl named Tangerine, her figure jumped around in the back of my mind. The girl ran. The image of an orange-coloured umbrella lost in the rain. If only I could change that. Surrounded by the growth of trees on all sides, I was lost. What I saw yesterday, the different scenery, it was gone without a trace. I looked around. As far as I could see, it had been the same old view. My head burned. All my strength had left me. I had to lean on a wet tree trunk. Was I not allowed to find it anymore? The place where Jasmine lived? A touch of white flashed in the corner of my eye. That it was. I believed I had found it. Surrounded by the woods, there appeared a small clearing, only big enough to contain a single wood house.
你好。
Hello. She stood in the middle of the clearing.
又见面了呢。
Nice to see you again. The girl in the white dress, with a smile on her face, she waved at me.
真的是好久不
Hey,
见了呢。
it's been such a long time. She was smiling quietly, but somehow the smile looked a bit sad. For a moment, I was lost for words. The sunset had coloured her cheeks. I'd never seen a look like this. Hey, what could I ask for? What could I say? Was there anything? Anything at all I could do it
我
to?
都知道的哦。
I know it all. With a warm smile, just like the golden sunset, Jasmine said softly,
未来应该说是过去的事情。
the future, or should I say the past? I know it all, and
那孩子的事情
I know about
我
her,
都知道哦。
about the child, everything. Her look was that of a mother, gentle, forgiving.
所以什么都不必担心，
There's nothing to worry about.
一切都会没事的。
Everything is going to be alright. Her smile soothed me, just like it did then. All this time, all the disorientation and confusion was beginning to calm down. I started to realise what I wanted to say. That it was not enough. Yes, I wanted to help the child, to do something to the past. Yet, that was still not enough. I hoped the child would be alright, and Jasmine told me what she knew. Everything would be alright. That was what had already happened. That was the past to her. I had the answer I wanted all along, yet I was still not relieved. There was something... What about you? Raising my left hand. Once in a while, you should think about yourself. I knocked her with my knuckles on the forehead lightly. I didn't contact anything though. It was like knocking on air. Nothing.
还有啊，
Oh, and as if you didn't hear me.
兔子先生呢，也要加油哦。
Please fight on, Mr. Rabbit. Despite of everything, she went on.
一定会成为一位非常出色的人的。
You will grow into a wonderful person. I'm sure of that. Her brightest smile, like a blessing. Hey, would you listen to me for once? I had no other choice but to accept, smiling a bitter smile.
最后呢，
One last thing. Her profile was starting to fade out. Her voice trailed away.
如果见到昨天的我的话，
If you ever get to meet me from yesterday? The words were a mere whisper, but I heard it clearly enough. And then night had fallen. In the forest I stood, all by myself. The dome-like sky, the wooden house, the clearing filled with the scent of wildflowers and grass, all those were gone. Nothing but the forest remained, like it had always been. Oh, I did remember. I would remember. If I ever saw her again,
请向那孩子
please smile
打
and
招呼
say
啊。
hello for me. What's the decode story? Let's have a look at that. Oh. So we're carrying on, guys. It looks like there's more. Oh, this is going to be all about Tangerine. 6 years old. Bright, bright blue sky. A summer full of bright sunshine. Today my big brother would come back from town. I jumped up and ran to the door. Mummy was making breakfast. The wonderful smell of congee made from the new rice crop filled the room. I'd looked forward to it all this time. The figure emerged and slowly became clear. But I wasn't one to wait. I ran up to him. Hey, long time no see. Although he only stayed here during summer vacations, I couldn't be happy when my big brother was around. Normally I had been the one to sleep in. When Big Brother came to stay, I always got up early, just to wake him up. He would protest and blink sleepily when I dragged him out of bed to play. Play? What's there to play? That's what he always said. But in the end, he always gave in and played with me. We skipped rubber bands. I skipped, he just held it. We threw beanbags. I threw, he picked them up for me. And together we went for adventures, far into the woods. Well, not that far. The adults didn't want us to go into the woods, but Big Brother promised it'd be alright. I could count on him. That had been the coolest thing I knew. All the talk of tigers, wolves and bears was a bit scary though. He kept saying, if you don't walk faster, I'll leave you here, I promise. But he never let go of my hand. The palm of his hand was warm. That day, we discovered a place we had never been. It was like a wide clearing suddenly emerged out of nowhere, with green grass and colourful wildflowers. It smelled wonderful too. In the middle of the clearing, there was a little house, just like in the fairy tales.
一定是仙女的家。
It must be the home of the fairies! I was overjoyed. Dragging him along, I ran up to it. That was when she appeared before us. The white fairy. Big eyes, long hair, wide straw hat, light dress, as pretty as a dream. Had I met her somewhere before? A long time ago. She told us her name. Jasmine. What a beautiful name. And she knew our names as well. It was like magic. Would we play together? Jasmine asked. Of course we would. Right? My big brother was somewhat worried at first. He wouldn't let go of my hand, but after a while, we all had a lot of fun together. Jasmine was a bit older than brother. She had a soft, beautiful smile, but when we ran around the little house, she would always just sit quietly looking at us, smiling. Wouldn't Jasmine play hide and seek with us? I shook her arms. I wanted her to play with us so
姐
bad.
姐不太擅长运动哟。
I'm not that good at sports. Looking a bit embarrassed, Jasmine blushed.
啊，这样好了，
Okay, now I have an idea. She clapped her hands.
我们来折纸飞机吧。
Let's make paper planes. It was a long time ago. A summer full of bright sunshine. In the blue sky, a white paper plane slid across it in the wind. Wow! Jasmine's plane flew far. I ran to pick it up. My brother looked like he hated to admit defeat. I laughed and patted him on the head. Actually, his plane was not bad at all. Look, I just brought it back together with Jasmine's. Let's try again, wouldn't we? Fight, Jasmine. Fight, big brother. Then I noticed the sky. The sun was already going down. We had to go home, or Mummy and Daddy would be really upset. I wasn't ready to say goodbye yet. See you tomorrow, Jasmine waved at us. For some reason, she looked lost to me. And then, Jasmine took my arm gently. She whispered into my ear. I couldn't see the look on her face, but I'd never forget what she said. The words were as soft as a breeze. There was a hint of sadness and loneliness, nevertheless as gentle as ever.
一定不要离开哥哥的身边哦。
Promise me, please, always stay by my side, by his side. The day was so hot, the air was sticky and stifling. I was in no mood for studying at all. But with homework unfinished, I simply couldn't go out. Jasmine must be waiting for us. Jasmine told me to always stay with my big brother. Of course we would be together every day. Right? I got an idea.
哥哥，
Hey, teach me this.
教我写作业
Nope.
吧。
Why? Do you your own homework already? But I can't finish. I need to sleep. But if I can't finish, we can't go to Jasmine's place. She must be waiting. Give it to me. I knew my big brother is the best. Hand in hand, we ran on the pathway leading to the hills. So hot. Jasmine must be waiting. The path winded its way through the woods. Come to think of it, we didn't even know where she lived. The sound of shuffling paper came from my pocket. I decided to ask her about it today and to learn from her how to make paper planes. A drop of cool water hit my cheek. We stopped. Not rain, please. At that exact moment, fat raindrops started to fall in full fury. Ah. And there was the thunder. I threw myself to my big brother. He pulled his shirt over my head and half dragging me along. We began to run. Jasmine! What about Jasmine? The pouring rain drowned out my words. He couldn't answer me. He just took my hand and ran into the direction of home. In the end, he caught a cold, started to sneeze the moment we reached home, even developed a fever. It was all my fault. I felt sorry for him. I wanted to be responsible and take care of him.